So, we've talked about the women's team. I'm just putting up a pause there because we might not have talked about the women's team.
That's why I went.
Good work, you're learning.
This is Red All Over, live at the Oaks. Thank you for their sponsorship all season and subscribing, etc. So today we're very fortunate in that we've got two of the Barnsley FC women's team joining us for a bit of a catch-up on where they are. They've had a fantastic season so far. So I'm going to start with George. I actually played with George when she was significantly younger. I was a little bit younger. So you've been there a while, haven't you, George?
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about Sunday just gone first.
Yeah.
Fantastic 4-1 win against Sunderland, who were up there as well,
Yeah,
weren't they?
yeah.
So just Kirsty Nichols' hat-trick, I hear.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
And
Think
you
so.
took a bit of a knock.
Yeah, I did, but, he'll be all right. I'll get there. Only a couple of weeks out, I hope.
So how was the game on Sunday?
Yeah, I think we played well, really. I thought we deserved the win. We're a better team, played some good football, and then obviously Kirsty coming on as a sub and got a hat-trick. So,
That's a pretty good, amazing
Yeah.
substitution.
I think she got man at match as well.
Yeah, I should. Well, yeah. Normally, though, I always talk about the man of the match or the player of the match, we should say. And normally it's some random that I think, like Jodie Gregory's got a hat trick but didn't get player of the match, and I think, that's a bit worse. So she did get the player of the match this time. Yeah. So if we pass over to Kim, so Kim, is this your first season with Barnsley FC Women's? So how have you found it?
Yeah, really good. I think coming to a club that's backed by the men is massive, and they are fully behind us. And I think the support just shows in the performances. If you look back to the start of the season, playing the first game on Oakwell, I think the atmosphere and the pressure of that got to some of us, but also it was a brand new team. We've had months together now, and I think, like you said, with us position in the league and the results, you can see how we've gelled as a team and come together, and that's due to the group that we've got.
So Jess tells me that the squad is pretty strong now. Most people back from injury, although we've obviously got one that's just added to an injury list. But a lot of sort of quality coming back into the squad. Obviously, is it 6 games to go and a cup game? How are you feeling in the running?
I think we're feeling pretty confident, to be honest. We know it's sort of out of our hands now. We messed up a few weeks ago and it was in our control, and now we need other teams to do us a favour or other teams to slip up. But like you said there, we've got quality coming back from injury. Obviously, unfortunately, lost G, but touch wood, she'll be back just after Easter, which would be massive for us. But we've got a 23-man squad, I think it is, and the competition for shirts is huge. So I think that pushes everybody else on, so the training intensity lifts. Everybody wants to be in that starting 11, so I think Jess has got a huge job narrowing it down to 16 for a Sunday and then especially for the 11. So, I think it's positive in camp, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to do the job in the league, and then hopefully we'll see how we get on in the cup run.
Could you just talk us through, I know you have 3 training sessions a week, don't you, which is quite heavy for what is technically still an amateur football team, although you are sort of pushing towards that professional level. But what does the training involve? What are the 3 sessions? How do they differ?
So Monday is more a steady recovery session, but we now train in that, so it's more a bit of possession, shooting drills, things like that, so it's more steady after playing on a Sunday, and then we have the gym before that, so we'll go to the gym first and then go in for that. Tuesdays very similar, so Tuesdays we're at the gym 6:30 till 7:30, do post-match analysis for 20 minutes, then we're out training till 9:15, and then Thursday's very similar, but instead of post-match we do the pre-match for the Sunday coming up. So it is a lot, but I think the analysis is crucial in where we've come from the start of the season to now, looking at where as weaknesses were and as strengths were, and I think that's why we're getting the results we are at the moment.
Yeah, I spoke to Jess before the season. Obviously, I speak to her regularly, but I spoke to the beginning of the season, and I think optimistically she was thinking, mid-table finish would have been probably fair. And looking at it, you're 1 point behind. Obviously, top of the league, Wallsend have got a couple of games in hand, but we all know that doesn't necessarily mean anything. We'll have to look at the gentleman for that. So yeah, I just think it's an amazing achievement, whatever happens now, still in the cup. So realistically, if you didn't get up this season, is it then a massive push for next season, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I think to be newly promoted this year and be so close and in touching distance, that we could potentially go up this year. Next year is 100%. That would be the ambition, is to go up. I think we're attracting players from higher leagues that want to come and join us. We've had one sign last week in Ginge, so I think you never know. Come pre-season, we might have more people that are interested and get a bit more quality in the team that to add to what we've already got. And 100%, we could go and challenge for the title.
Yeah, George, if I could just come back to you. Obviously, having played for quite a significant amount of time, this season must be massively different. So, what has the club brought to the ladies, the women, should I say, compared to sort of the past, and how has that helped?
So we've got like the gym membership now, and like we've got so many more like coaching staff. We've got physio, we've got a sports scientist, analyst, and then we've got Jess and Lynn. So yeah, it's just a lot better like being backed.
And in terms of crowd and support, have you noticed a difference there?
Oh yeah, we get quite a few. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but there's always quite a few. You can always hear cheering on goals as well when we watch them back, so that's nice.
I mean, the first game at Orwell I thought were absolutely amazing. I was so proud to see you lot walk out on that hallowed turf, and that did give me a bit of, if only I was 10 years younger. But yeah, that were amazing, and I know there were a lot of nerves because obviously first game of the season anyway. And then I think there was nearly 2,000.
Yeah, I don't think any of us expected that kind of numbers to turn up.
Any scope of one more game on there before the end of the season?
Hopefully. I mean, we've got one more. Well, we've got Sunday at home, and then we've got one more. So
yeah, that's what. So the last game of the season,
yeah.
maybe nothing sort of concrete yet, or is it all under wraps?
We don't know anything, but whether Jess does, I don't know. But we've not been told anything yet.
She's not slid anything to me.
Try and get that out of her.
yeah, and I guess it will depend on the weather and how the
Would
men's
be nice
team.
to get one more though.
I think it'd be great if obviously the last game of the season, if something as well is still hopefully still competing for the title, it would be amazing. Yeah. And from being around fans, I think the profile of the women's team is really increased, and it's great. It's really good. So not Kimberly. Apologies. So if we finish off, obviously you've been to other clubs. How would you compare this season then? What do you are you going to stay? Are you here for next season, or again is that something that's not confirmed?
If it's up to me, 100% be staying here. I think the group we've got is probably one of the best groups I've ever played with in terms of personnel and obviously the togetherness as well. I think that's shown in how we're performing, is we are just one big group. And so, yeah, if it's up to me, I'll 100% be here next year, whether that's in this league or in the league above.
Great. G, I guess you're staying, yeah? Vice captain. Are you vice captain?
I am this season, yeah.
Good. Well, congratulations on that. So, in terms of recovery from that ankle, are you seeing the physio tonight?
Yep, I've seen Reece tonight, yeah.
So fingers crossed it's just a short thing?
Yeah, I hope so. Get that ice machine on and, I'll be back.
Good, I hope so, because you're a vital member of the team. Thanks very much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Good luck with the rest of the season, and obviously we'll be supporting you, Red, all over, big followers of the women's team, so you Reds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, no, you're right. This is just the final question for you, George. When you used to play with Tracy, what was she like to play with?
I was called Stan.
Stan, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I'm Stan in football terms.
we stand then, George. Because what I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, what I've heard is you had to carry her a bit because she was coming towards the end, weren't she? So, how did she do? I'm real. No, just tell it to her. Go on, it's your chance.
No, she was good. Good player.
No, I don't want to know that. No.
He asked me to be honest.
No. Cut that bit out. Right, start again. What was she like when you had to carry her, George? Was she all right, or was she as bad as I thought she was?
No, it's not bad. Not bad at all.
All right, so she was good. Nah, she's not bad. Right, third time. What was she like to play with, George? Was she as bad as we thought?
No, she's amazing.
That's what, George.
No hope. Thank you, George.
You're welcome.
Now, for this one, there's no Smithy because he's not feeling at his best. but we're also missing Josh Atherton, who would normally host this show. But, as always with Red All Over, we've upgraded. So not only is there me talking, we've got the founder of Red All Over, the top man, the guest appearance of Joe Luke Beardsall. What more do you want?
Slip me that fiver later, Andy. Or a fiver, weren't it? No more. Or just a pint. Maybe you're a pint. Finally buy you a pint for that intro.
That'll work for me. So, the first thing I'd like to talk to you two about, because, you know, now I'm in the presence of greatness, people that actually, for once, and with people that actually know what they're talking about. So, there's no Tom here, because he's no idea. There's no Smithy who'll just talk about out random. And Josh, who looks at his tactic board, but we never see it. He got a tactics board, but we never see it. So, Craig, we've not even got Craig here, so at least, you know, somebody that come out with stats like Smithy does. But we haven't even got them. We've got the creme. That's all I'm saying. Not me, but we've got the creme de la creme. We've got an ex-Barnsley women's
nice
football.
to us tonight, Tracy.
Butting us up. I think mainly he's got the people that have no better to do tonight.
Trust me, Joe, it'll not last. So, since we've got the creme, what I want to talk about, if we may, with you two, and get your expert views, expert pundits. Remaining matches. We've got, how many we got? 8 matches. Some have got 7 matches. It's all to play for. We've got a sheet. And that sheet shows all the games that the clubs have got to play. So, for example, Pompey at the top, they've got to play Barnsley. They have to play Derby. They have to play Lincoln. Now, Derby, they've got to play Blackpool, they've got to play Pompey, they've got to play Oxford.
No, they aren't.
Oh, they aren't. Orient, sorry. Need my glasses.
Get him his glasses,
Let's
man.
put my teeth in. Bolton, they've got to play Stevenage.
And
Pompey. And last match of the season, Peterborough. Peterborough, they've got to play Oxford. Bolton, last match of the season. Oxford have got to play, look down the list, Peterborough, Lincoln, Stevenage for the last 3 matches, bar the last one against Exeter. Lincoln have got to play. Oh, that's easy, isn't it? They've got to play. That's easy for them. They've got to play
Considering
Oxford.
the current form it is.
But at the last match of the season, could all go on this. They have to play Pompey, play Portsmouth, Stevenage. Stevenage. They've got to play Bolton, Charlton, Barnsley, and Oxford. Tricky games. So, there's some difficult games there, people playing against each other. And as we saw last weekend when we drew 0-0 against a team in relegation, some team, you can't all win, can you? If 2 teams play against each other, they can't all win. So, out could happen. What do you think, Joe?
Well, I think we could have won on Saturday. Would have helped, wouldn't it? No, I think it's a tough running. I've just been speaking to, we're here at Oaks working men's squad. I've been speaking to Steve. If you watch this show regularly, you know he's a big Derby fan. And we were just saying there's no outstanding team this season. Like last season, you felt like there were 4 outstanding teams, and unfortunately, we were the one that didn't go part of the 4. Whereas this season, I don't feel like there is. Like, yeah, everybody's had a bit of form here and there, including us, and had some decent games, but it does feel like there's no outstanding team. Anyone who puts a run together the last 7 or 8 games could do it. Obviously, right now, we're feeling a bit down at dumps, aren't we, Tracy? Because we've just got thumped by Lincoln, and then, you know, yeah, we did win in midweek against Carlisle, but that game against Cheltenham, just opportunity missed, a perfect opportunity to gain some ground, and, you know, just couldn't quite manage it.
Yeah, like we said, the Lincoln game, you can put it down as a one-off, and since they've played us, they've gone on and walloped everybody else, so I feel sort of less bad about that game, because I think, wow, Lincoln frightened the life out of me. But, yeah, Cheltenham was the one that you just think, oh, we should have taken 3 points out of that game. We were just, poor in front of goal. First half especially, we've talked about it, but yeah, that was the game for me that I think there's always that game that you look back on and think, if only. And I think that might be the game that we look back on and think, you know, that's the game we should have got 3 points out of, and we didn't.
Pompey's got 7 games left, 4 against teams up at the top.
I think they're
They're well clear. There's 5 points clear currently. 5 points clear, and they're doing well. They aren't lost in the last 6, maybe more, but certainly not in the last 6. But if they're not going to take points against them, other teams are going to get the points, aren't they? They can't play 4 teams up at the top with them. Will they drop off? They had a blip, and then they came back. Will they drop off? If they don't drop off, they could leave a gap with other teams coming up, couldn't they? If they beat all them.
Possibly. I think it's a good way to look at it. For me, I always think Easter, it's a time of miracles. So you never know. There's two games there where obviously lots of funny things happen in football at Easter, don't there? So we can see what happens and see. I think looking at our games, they're not easy because the teams who are obviously fighting to stay in the league. But the other sides have got harder fixtures, in my opinion, in terms of league position anyway. So I think we've got a good chance of maybe, after Easter, things might just look a bit more rosy for us. And then we, 5 or 6 games to go, might just have a chance. You never know.
Yeah, last year, remember this happened around with Ipswich where they had they sort of had an international call-up, did sort of thing, when we were flying. And Portsmouth, have done a similar thing, but I'm actually grateful that we've got a week off because I was quite fearful of going to Portsmouth this weekend. So I now think that them having the international call-ups might have done us a favour because I think we need a break. We looked jaded the last couple of games. Since the Bolton game, I think we've looked tired, whether that be mentally or physically. I'm not sure. I think it took a lot out of us. So, yeah, I'm quite grateful for the break and hoping that we then go into Easter with, like you say, 2 games in effectively 4 days, which is going to certainly decide whether or not we're going to have any say in the top
absolutely.
2.
I think that's going to be the 2 games, isn't it? Like, Andy, those 2 games, if we don't win both of those games, then I think we can say it's playoffs. But my point is that I think winning those 2 hard fixtures for the others, you just never know. If they only pick up 3 points, we've got a good chance of maybe being back in with that automatic, only a slim chance, but a chance.
Our next 2 games are against Cambridge and Burton.
Yeah, which I remember Burton away last season, went there, and that was not an easy place to go. So I'm saying league position, maybe the easier fixtures, but actually when you get to the games, these sides fighting to stay in the league, it's not an easy game.
Well, the bit that worries me about the Burton game is we'll not get a penalty, will we? After John Brayford last season,
I
we're
mean,
not going to get a penalty.
best keeper in league last season.
Outstanding performance. So we may get players back though.
We may.
We may. Herbie Kane should be back.
Well, yeah, he's back in terms of his suspension's finished, isn't it?
If he's picked.
I think he has to be picked.
I agree.
We've lacked a bit of creativity, haven't we? Last couple, I think, and
yeah.
And I look at that Lincoln game, and I know we got, they were absolutely amazing, weren't they? They were brilliant, but Herbie comes off, and we did have chances in that game. To be fair, in the second half, we could have. I don't think we'd have ever won the game because they were brilliant, but we might have made it 5-3, 5-4 if we'd have really put us chances away and had a bit more creativity in certain areas. And yeah, I think.
And remembered how to tackle.
Missing. Well.
that
might have stopped us from conceding 5,
that
sometimes you do have to also look at the opposition and just say they were brilliant, and it's been shown in the next 2 results they've gone and done the same to other sides. So,
and I'm not going to make a big thing about it, Tracy, but at the start of the season I said that Lincoln had finished up in the playoff places, and I'm going to tell you, you all laughed. You laughed at me, including you, Tracy. You laughed at me.
Andy.
You can say Exeter all you like. You laughed at me. You laughed at me a few weeks ago when I said about Lincoln. You laughed then.
In fairness, Exeter did beat us, so
yeah, but they're not going to finish in top 6.
Probably not going to finish in the top 6, but they did beat us. So
And one thing I will say, as we get towards the end of the season, I shall be bringing up what everybody predicted at the start of the season, Tracy. So be ready.
I am pretty happy with my 6 generally. Yeah.
Well,
I can't remember what my 6 were. I need to check.
Oh, I'll remember. I'm not reminding you now. I'm not reminding you now. I'll remind you when it comes to the time. But So, who do you think's going to finish the top 2 then? At the minute, it's Pompey and Derby, but Derby's only just in front of Bolton.
I think Pompey's going to win it. I don't think anyone's going to catch them now. I think they've had the blip. Yeah, I know, but I just don't. I just think they're too good in terms of they just seem confident. And you know what? To be fair to them, they've been there or thereabouts and pushing for 2-3 seasons. So yeah, it's that second spot. The second spot is the big one.
And I think pointing to this, Andy, on the fixtures that Pompey have got to play. Really, we want Pompey to win them fixtures. We want them to probably do that because if they beat the likes of Derby and Bolton and we can just have a consistent run between now and end of season, like you said, someone's got to take points off somebody. Gives us a real chance at automatic promotion. So we might not be feeling that right this second because it results last couple of weeks, but actually that's another shining light to say that we might be able
So
to
it'd
do
be
it.
helpful for us for Pompey to have already secured promotion or even top spot before the playoffs, and then like we did
Yeah.
in the promotion to the Premier League,
Hangover.
we could have an hangover. They could have an hangover like we had against Oxford
Yeah,
United,
yeah.
and got hammered. So hopefully they can. Who do you think then? Derby, Bolton, Peterborough have come back strong. They dropped a bit and were behind us. They've come above us. Goal difference, but they've come above us. Same number of games. They've got 8 left.
It's really interesting, isn't it, that the 4 are, other than sort of Sheffield Wednesday, they're the 4 that were pretty much in the playoffs last year. Obviously, Derby lost out the last game of the season, didn't they, to not get in the playoffs. But you look at them 4 and think, well, it's a tough one. I mean, I think Peterborough could come up on the rails. Looking at their fixtures, on paper, I think they've certainly got a good running, barring the last game of the season, which is Bolton. Obviously, by then, you would think it'll be sewn up. So I'm, obviously, you know, my heart says Barnsley, but I actually think Peterborough could come up on the rails and sneak into second.
I think you're right. I think Peterborough could do it. They've got a pretty decent running. You know, on paper, a good running, like you say, until Bolton. It all depends if they. What we don't want for Peterborough, because I like Peterborough, we don't want them to bottle it like they did against Sheffield Wednesday last year, because they absolutely hammered them and then bottled it, and we're hopeless in the second leg. So hopefully they'll put that right in from their point of view and not do it. So, do you think do you think that Peterborough's going to overtake Derby and Bolton then? And
Yeah.
finish second.
I'm more towards Derby finishing second or us. The us is probably the heart speaking, and Derby probably the head. But looking at, they've just won a significant game, beating Bolton in that game. It don't matter how they won. It was obviously a really tight game, but beating them in that match could be the momentum that they need to get them over the line. And when you start looking at that gap opening up, obviously 4 points between them and Bolton. For us, it's 7, but with a game in hand. Right this second, they'll be fancying themselves to nick that second spot. But I just think with the fixtures, we've still got a chance. We've got to just put in a really decent run end of season and try not focus. It's hard. Try not focus on this as much, but just focus on us finishing. And we need momentum, because right now we ain't got it. And we know that sides going into playoffs with momentum, we would not want to play Lincoln right now. The way they're playing, I would not want to play Lincoln in playoffs. So we've got to get to be that side that have got momentum come the end of the season.
So if we did get second place, we don't care, do we? Because we've got promotion. So what happens below us don't matter, does it?
If we get second place,
Who cares?
yeah, I could. I'm not going to say something that'll have to edit, but yeah, we wouldn't give them monkeys, would we?
No.
Yeah, don't matter how we do it.
No.
If we get second, we get second.
I don't care then.
I'm not into. I know some fans will say, but we're not ready for Championship. I agree. I don't think we are there yet. We'd have a lot of recruitment to do in the summer, a lot of building to strengthen the team. But if you're there, you've got more resource in the Championship. You're getting bigger, fan bases coming through the gates. That means that you're starting to work your way up. Yeah, we might struggle to stay up, but I'd still rather be in that competition and fighting against some of the big sides and have that bigger atmosphere and generating more income for the club to try and keep us there or get us straight back up than staying in this league for another season.
The sad state of affairs is that there's much more money washing about in the Championship, and if you want to progress, you've got to be able to access that money, whether that's through TV money and higher up the league through the FA and the EFL, or if it's to do with revenue. Teams coming, we saw it when Bolton came. They bring fans with them.
Absolutely.
Lincoln, they bring fans with them, and without any disrespect at all to Cheltenham, they're about 110. Now, I'm not knocking them because they're in League One and they're doing pretty well considering where they came from. But 110 fans, as opposed to 5,000 fans, makes a huge difference when you keep most of your home gate, if you like.
And just from an enjoyment point of view, I don't know about you guys. Let us know what you think in the comments, but I just think a Championship win, no matter which team it's against, feels so much better than a League One win. I don't want to sound like, expect us to win in this league. You can never expect to win every week, but I just feel in the Championship it means more, especially for our side where we're at, to win a game in the Championship. Just get more satisfaction out of that. I get more satisfaction out of 1-0 in the Championship win than I would a 5-0 in League One, to be honest.
You see, my bit is I think Derby might well finish second because they've got the 4 points clear. They've got it to lose, and they told me, they're good at getting injury time penalties. So that's all going to help, isn't it? It's all going to help.
In fairness, we've had a fair share of penalties and late ones this season, so
No,
I think
don't-
Derby fans would be saying we've had a few and all, so we can't.
Listen,
we can't complain too
you're a
much
guest
about
on this show. Don't start coming with all your facts again. I don't want any of that nonsense.
I'll not.
Never mind all that
I'll
business.
not bring any facts on that one then.
Look, I'll keep it simple. We was robbed. I don't know what game we were robbed in, but we were robbed. Referees are wrong, and I don't know what else to say. So, who do we think is going to finish in the playoffs then? At minute, it's Bolton, Peterborough, us, and Oxford.
I mean, we probably all agree. There's only one team that's going to fly into that playoffs, I think, at the minute. They were given, a month ago, you were thinking Lincoln City, they ain't got a chance. Now I look and think, oh my goodness. I know.
Oh, no.
Not you, Andy. You've been saying it
yeah.
since the beginning of the
You've
season.
been their champion, them. You are, Jake Tong's best friend and all that.
They didn't have strikers. As soon as they were getting the strikers back, it were going to change.
Well,
for
apparently
them.
when they played us at home, they need to have midfielders, he said.
Well,
Well,
I'm not sure Jake Tong's
Seems to have
always
got
that.
plenty now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you were... I mean, to be honest, I'm not a doom and gloom merchant at all, but if we don't get a couple of decent results over Easter, we're going to start looking over our shoulder, I'll tell you that much.
Do you think?
Yeah,
I mean,
do.
I don't know. I think we're there or thereabouts now. I think we'd have to have a real drop off to not get playoffs. Obviously, we can't take his foot off the gas, like I said. Momentum's important, but
10 points in playoffs. Don't get complacent. You should never get complacent.
We lose 2 over Easter, they win 2 over Easter. That 10 points suddenly is down to 4, and then you're looking over your shoulder, is what I'm saying. I'm just being a realist.
you missed my happy clapping on this show.
And
You're balancing me out.
No,
I'm only kidding.
Right, I know they're
no,
not
I'm
right.
pretty positive, but-
Which one are you trying to impersonate, Josh or Craig? Because I'm not sure.
Or a number of our fans that choose to comment on social media. No, I'm not. I'm just being a realist. I'm just saying we're in a bit of a rut, aren't we? We're in a bit of a rut. And like I said before, I hope we now get the break. The squad comes together. We've got no one out on international duty, thankfully, because I'm glad that they've not gone. And it's probably sad for them, for Cole and for Russell. But I'm glad. Just keep the squad together. Get the players back fit. Hopefully they're going and doing some team building somewhere or something. I don't know what. And that's what I hope. But if it doesn't, and we have a squeaky bum Easter, shall I say, then I'm telling you, we'll be looking over his shoulder.
I feel nervous now. Felt fine before.
Oh, we're all right when we started this show. I'm not so sure now.
Have we checked maths to make sure we can't get relegated? That's off the table, isn't it?
So let me.
with that bit.
Well, I'm saying we're going to finish at top 6.
Let me ask you this. Just
I feel like I'm being a bit intimidated here, guys.
no, don't be.
No, it's good, Tracy. I like it.
Bolton and
The different
Peterborough.
opinions,
You
always
think
good.
they're going to be all right in playoffs?
Yeah.
You think they'll be all right?
Yeah.
And you think we might not, but then there's Oxford and Lincoln. So Lincoln might come up.
Yeah.
And I think most people are expecting that because they're on a hell of a run of form, aren't they? They're hammering. They're not just winning, are they? They're hammering. So expect them to go. So are you thinking that we might miss out
No.
against such as Stevenage and Oxford? Because that's basically
No,
who'll
I
make
think
a
we're going to get in
difference.
the playoffs. I'm not saying I don't think we're going to get in the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I just think we've got to be, there's people saying we're in the playoffs, and I think, well, we're not.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
But I think we're going to get in the playoffs, and I think Lincoln will then join us at the expense, as unfortunately, of Stevenage, who I genuinely feel sorry for the Stevenage fans because they've been up there all season. I mean, the start of the season, they surprised everyone. They were at the top of the league for a while. I don't feel sorry for Steve Evans. I do feel sorry for the fans.
You see, I feel sorry for if it happens like you think. I feel sorry for my mate Matt Farley because I've yet to come against the most positive person in the world, a happier person in the world, even outside of him. And that you don't see him off air. You've no idea how much
I've not
there
met
is.
Matt, but I need
Matt
to meet him
Farley's
now,
wonderful.
because he
Matt
sounds
Farley's
like my type of
wonderful.
guy.
But if they lose out, if Stevenage lose out to Lincoln, then I've got my mate Jake Tong, and I wish him all the best because who do we want to play in the playoffs?
Just Lincoln are so good right now, just not Lincoln.
but
I think everybody will be
there's still-
saying that. They're
there's
so
still
good.
6 matches left.
They're so good. I mean,
6,
obviously, if
7 matches
they're
left.
on this sort of form, 6 matches is not a load,
Seven
but
matches. Well,
yeah.
loads left, yeah.
But the way they played against us, I just thought they were exceptional. I know we weren't great at all that day, but just watching how they played, they were so confident. They just run at our defenders and they just looked like they were going to score every time they had a go. And they're a tough side as well. They're not a dirty side. They're a strong side. They're strong in the way they play, and
Are they peaking early though? Are they
well,
peaking
that's the
early?
question.
6
You
matches,
never,
they go 7 matches,
you never know, do you? It's 7 matches. They could be, but I still think 7 matches is not a great deal. As long as they can continue, they don't need to be beating sides 5-0. They just need to continue to win games and get a couple of draws, and I think they'll get in there. And I really won't want to face them, to be honest, with the way they're playing at the minute.
They've got 4 matches to get the Sunday playoffs against Orient, Carlisle, Reading, and Wigan. But then they've got Oxford. That could be a
decider.
crunch game between them and Oxford.
Yeah.
And of course, last match of the season
Yeah.
might already be all right, might not be. Portsmouth.
Yeah, I'd also feel
Portsmouth
for
might
Oxford
have
as well.
finished. Portsmouth might have won. Portsmouth might be wanting to win title. That could be a big clash right at the end. Who knows?
I'd also feel for Oxford if they do miss out, because again, like Stevenage, they've been up there all season. They've played well in games, and I really like their fan base as well. I think they're good fans, and we had a laugh with them. In the was it Johnson's Paint JPT back in the day final? That was a good day out with the Oxford fans. So
They
I
only
would
sing
feel
when
for
they're
them as
rowing,
well.
though.
They always sing when they're rowing.
Bless them, they were wonderful.
So I'd feel
They
for
were
them
wonderful.
if they miss out. But at the minute, Lincoln are the side that I think the ones to watch, and that's the ones I'd want to avoid.
So you
in the
feel
playoffs.
bad if top 8 don't get into playoffs then?
Well, I'm just trying to be nice to everybody. Ultimately,
Yeah,
if we're in the playoffs, I want us to go up. But
Right, you don't want to play Lincoln in the playoffs. You both said that, yeah? I don't care, because whether it's in the semi-final, I just want to see Jake Don cry, because he will. Right.
just mean.
Who do you want to meet in the playoff semis first? Playoff semis. Who would you prefer to meet, or would you like to meet? I don't care.
Bolton.
You want to play Bolton in semis?
Yeah.
Why is it? Why?
I actually think, and things I don't want to say this now, because if this happens and then, a Bolton fan will find this and put it back, won't they? A bit like somebody did.
Didn't
with
want to repeat
you
it last season.
as a
We've got mates at Bolton. We've
clown.
got
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? I
oh,
don't
Reading
want,
clown
I don't want to
or
be,
Wednesday clown. Pick your pick.
exactly, I don't want to be that. I actually think Bolton don't like playing us. I think we are the team that they don't like playing, because we touch wood. Is it wood?
For Micah.
Oh my God, there'll be a bit of wood in
Or
there
somewhere.
somewhere. We do all right against them. And I out of them, I think I'd take Bolton.
Interesting.
We see. Me and Smithy have got good mates.
I know you have,
With
yeah.
Fans Zone Pod at Bolton. With Chris and Colin and Ange. Oh, so
I can see what you're saying, Tracy, because there's been close games between us and Bolton, but we have narrowly, apart from obviously the last one where they came back, brilliantly, and we sat too deep and just let them come on to us. But apart from that, generally we've come out on top, just about against them. So I can see what you're saying with that.
Well, us playing against Bolton. Let me put it this way to you: us against Bolton, whether it's in final or semi-final. Let's say semi-final. It's like the age-old battle through the ages: good against evil, isn't it?
War of the Roses.
War of the Roses. We'll come back to War of the Roses. Good against evil. So you've got God's own country against the dark satanic mills. God against Satan. It's been the same throughout world
Slightly
immemorial. And then we come on to War of the Roses. Now, there's something that seems a bit odd to me. The White Rose County against the Red Rose County. But the White Rose County team playing red and the Redcoat Rose County playing white. What's that all about? That's all a bit odd,
It's a
isn't
bit
it?
confusing. But I have to say, I do love a good battle against Bolton. They like us, they've got a passionate fan base, we're passionate and all, down to earth, and just, we like
Similar,
a good,
aren't we?
gritty
Similar.
sort of, side that's going to work hard. We've got similar sort of, styles in terms of what we want. Obviously, Michael Duff first, Ian Everett last season was some clash on the touchline as well with those two gaffers, because, again, very passionate guys. Good managers. So I do love a good battle with Bolton. I thought it was a good game. I just gutted that we obviously conceded it last second and didn't get win. But yeah,
And it'll get me and Smithy back with our mates from Bolton. That'll be good.
The thing is, it's looking
Think
like
at views.
whoever
Think
we
at
play
views.
here, you're going to get some mates, aren't you?
you've just made mates with
no.
everybody, Andy. That's
No,
why you're
no,
like,
no.
oh, any of these I can be pals with because I've got friends from all of them.
No, not Derby. Oh no.
What about Steve? Steve can hear, he's only in hearing distance. Saving.
He pours drinks. I'm not bothered about him.
So
he's
it's
got
over there.
he's got rid of beer I like best, so he's done. He's done. He's got rid of Beavertown neck oil. That's not here anymore. So you know, he's down. He's down. They'll get a last-minute penalty though. But there you go. So you fancy Bolton? You fancy Bolton?
I wouldn't say I fancy Bolton. I wouldn't mind Bolton. I think I'd probably take Peterborough, to be honest. Obviously, if Oxford or Stevenage get in, I'd take Oxford or Stevenage based on current form and sort of the games we've had. I know Oxford beat us early in the season, but I'd probably say after that Peterborough, if we're going on based on the fact Peterborough, Lincoln, us and Bolton would be the four.
Because Peterborough could bottle the second leg, couldn't they? You know,
I don't think they could do that again, to be honest, but
could happen.
to that level. But I still think we'd.
Clark
have a good
Harrison
game
probably
against
scored a flipping hat-trick in both games against us.
He always
so he can't
scores
stop
against us,
scoring.
doesn't he? Always scores against us.
Can't stop scoring. So let's just say whichever team we get through to Wembley, so it's going to cost me a lot of money, and Tom, you a lot of money, Mel. It's going to cost a lot of money again. And will there be a red all over Wembley shirt though? That's what people really need to know. And if there be a Barnsley shirt, I think he'll design one because he can't help himself. Can't help himself. So we're going to Wembley. Wembley. Who do we want to play at Wembley? Never mind all what we've just said. Who would be the team to showcase League One at Wembley so that we could win? But it'd be a great game. Who would you prefer for Wembley?
Derby.
Bolton.
Bolton or Lincoln? Lincoln. I couldn't stand losing to after last year.
We're not going to lose, surely.
I couldn't stand losing to Derby with a last-minute penalty. We had enough last year with a last few second goal against them up road. Can't cope with that. Can't cope with him getting a penalty and Conor Horahan scoring from a penalty in added time because you know it had happened. You know that had happened, so I can't cope with that Derby. No. I hope Bolton, Peterborough or Lincoln paste them.
Yeah.
But I think they'll go up automatic anyway, so it won't matter.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they're the four teams that, because I think we're pretty much saying that we think they'll be the four teams in the playoffs if we don't go up automatic or Bolton don't. So
Well,
it'll be interesting to see if they are the four
I
teams.
hope it's Lincoln because Jake Tong owes me a drink. I also hope it's Stevenage because Matt Farley said he'd get me a drink and all. Well, actually, I told him he'd get me a drink, so that's probably not saying. Lincoln for me. What a showcase that would be. We get revenge for our 5-1 drubbing. Trust me.
I hope so. I'm not sure, considering their current form.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Are we going up? Are we going up, yes or no? Oh, it's not that complicated. Come
It
on.
is, I've got to think.
Well,
Late on.
I feel like there's not been, you've missed my happy clapping, or probably not, but some of you might have missed my happy clapping. So I'm going to say, yeah, we're gonna sneak second, like I say, just believing that, we'll just gain a bit of ground over Easter, like I said earlier, and then sneak into second when the other teams play Pompey. And come on, Pompey, make sure you win all them games for us.
Yes, via the playoffs.
Yes, it's good, and we're going to win at Wembley. If not automatic, which I think's still possible, but unlikely. We're going to win at Wembley. And what I will tell you is that when we do win at Wembley, there'll be some people on the pitch, and it'll be him. It'll be Tom Webster on the pitch, and they'll think it's red all over, and it is now.